Now, speaking of physical media, and Disney in particular, the reason why I have this out is because I want to talk about the current state of the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which everyone's been commenting on this lately because Disney's not having a very good year. All their stuff is doing bad, and particularly their MCU stuff, with the exception of Guardians 3, but we're going to get to that. So I want to talk, and I've saved it for when Christine wasn't here because she'd probably just be bored out of her mind or interrupting me constantly and disagreeing with everything that I have to say on this. That since we got Avengers Endgame in 2019, things have not exactly been that great for all these Marvel Disney releases. And particularly this year has been quite bad. So I just wanted to go through that. So since we got Endgame that came out in April of 2019, I remember I was there, saw that. Man, this sold out. Everything was selling out forever there because that's how they got into the $2 billion club. After that, now we got a bunch of Netflix and TV stuff. I'm not going to get into that. I mean, you got Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 6, Jessica Jones Season 3, Runaways Season 3. None of that stuff is actually considered canon in the MCU, so it's not part of the story. That was that was just their television universe, so it's not actually part of the MCU. As far as I know. If I'm wrong, let me know down in the comments below, please. But after that, the next movie that we got was Spider-Man Far From Home, which we got in July of 2019. So since this big event with Endgame, then we got Spider-Man movie. Yay, everything's great, right? Because they said things are going to drastically change in the MCU after Avengers Endgame. And so we got a Spider-Man movie from Sony, and it was great. Really fun. If you haven't checked that out, Spider-Man Battles Mysterio. Not going to tell you anymore. Go have a good time with that. And then, as everyone knows, the pandemic hit. And so they couldn't release things into movie theaters. So instead, they started releasing their shows onto Disney Plus. And the first one we got was WandaVision. And this was probably one of their biggest ones. It started out slow, but it was made so well, and it worked so well as a weekly series that by the time it got to the third, maybe the fourth week of it, it was like one of the biggest shows in the world, if not the biggest show in the world. And so that worked really well. That came out in January, ran from January to March of 2021. Yeah, so for a while we didn't get anything because of 2020 with when the pandemic hit, and things still weren't very good in 2021. After that, once that one finished, then a couple weeks later in March, we got The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I also really enjoyed this one. I know some people, especially there was a lot of people online that were complaining about, Wyatt Russell, who's Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell's kid. He was playing John Walker, Captain America, and a lot of people were giving him crap online, saying, hey, that's not my Captain America. He's not supposed to be Captain America. He's supposed to be Captain America and fail at it. So, John Walker in the comic books end up going crazy. So he's not supposed to be Captain America, and that's why if you watch the show, he takes on a different moniker by the end of the show. I'm not going to spoil it, but I had a good time with this show. It probably could have worked better as a movie because there was a lot of running around in northeastern Europe, running through houses and courtyards and everything. All these buildings that were just all connected, and They could have trimmed out some of the fat in that and probably made that into a better movie, but I still really enjoyed that series. After that, we got Loki Season 1, which ran from June of 2021 to July of 2021. I think Christine enjoyed that more than I did. It's very Doctor Who-esque, and I'm not really a big Doctor Who guy, and I'm not as into science fiction as she is. Anyway, so we got a good Spider-Man movie so far, and then we got 3 Disney Plus shows to varying degrees of success. After that, they came out with their first movie after the pandemic hit. So in July of 2021, we got Black Widow. And this one became very controversial because the Disney CEO at the time decided to release it day and date on Disney Plus for an added fee, you'd have to pay like $20, or you could go to the theater. And this became a lot of drama at the time in entertainment news, where Scarlett Johansson, who plays Black Widow, was suing Disney, her own employer, about this. I'm not going to get into that. This movie, I don't think it had huge acclaim. I enjoy it, but I admit it's not one of the best MCU movies, because the villain wasn't the greatest. I mean, it could have focused more on Taskmaster. Okay, on Rotten Tomatoes, it currently has a 79% certified fresh rating and a 91% audience score. Okay, so I guess overall people are enjoying it, but it did make a lot of money because the pandemic. Okay. What did we get after that? After Black Widow, then we got the What If series, and that's just a fun kind of cartoon series. I know a lot of people didn't quite enjoy it. There was a lot of people complaining about it. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was good for what it is. I haven't gone back to see that, and that's something that works as a series on Disney Plus. After that, then we got a great movie. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings came out in September 21. Man, I've seen it, I don't know, I've probably seen it like 10 times since then, because I saw it several times in the theater, because it played for a couple months, and I saw it, and then I took the family to go see it, and then later on my folks were visiting, and then I took them to go see it, so this was another big hit for Marvel. After that, then a couple months later, in November, we got The Eternals from Marvel. And this is one Christine likes to talk about. I enjoyed this. I don't think a lot of people did enjoy this, though. I wonder if the critics didn't like it, or if it was more critics or audiences enjoyed it more. Let's look it up on Tomatoes there. It currently has a 47% rotten rating. So yeah, critics didn't like it, and has a 77% audience score. Although I found this film to be quite divisive, because some people are like, yeah, it's good. A lot of people didn't like it. I think it's pretty good. I don't think it's great. It's not top tier Marvel. But once again, I enjoyed it. So you can see the quality of things is just kind of slowly going down as this timeline goes on. After that, we got the Hawkeye series from November to December of 21. That wasn't the greatest. It had some good stuff in it, but it was a bit rough to get through. And I'm not going to look up the Rotten Tomatoes score, because critics would post their ratings probably after seeing only like the first 2 or 3 episodes that they get sent ahead of the time. And then if those first few episodes were amazing, it might have a really high score, even though it didn't end that greatest. After that, then in December 2021, which got everyone to go back to the theaters, we got another Spider-Man movie. This one huge, Spider-Man No Way Home. This definitely made a lot of money, and people really enjoyed it. It almost hit the $2 billion mark, which there's only 5 or 6 movies that have done that. So for Spider-Man to get really close, I mean, that's a huge hit for Sony. And you know what? Everyone loves Spider-Man. It was a great time. They brought in all the other Spider-Men. They brought in all the villains. If you haven't seen it, you're really missing out a lot there on that. Okay, so anyway, then we got Moon Knight in March 2022. Mixed reviews, I'm gonna say. I thought it was okay. Wasn't great. Wasn't terrible for me. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness also came out to mixed reviews. Interestingly, this was voted the People's Choice Award #1 movie of 2022. Interesting. I mean, if that's what people saw and they enjoyed, great. Or if it was just a bunch of bots that were voting online for it, I don't know. I had fun with it. I don't think it's top tier Marvel. I don't think it even hit $1 billion. But let's look that up here. Doctor Strange. It's giving me Doctor Strange from 2016, 2022, Multiverse of Madness, 955 million worldwide. Almost hit $1 billion. Still a huge success for them. That's a lot of money for them to make. Okay. Anyway, so that one, not exactly blowing up the box office, but it did quite well. Then we got Ms. Marvel on Disney Plus in June of 2022. I enjoyed this. I don't think it was amazing, but I did have a lot of fun with the Ms. Marvel series. The best parts were all with her family, with Kamala Khan, the character played by Iman Vellani, and this show worked. The show worked quite well. I think it could have used another pass on the script just to kind of work out some of the kinks there, but it was pretty good. Then we got Thor: Love and Thunder in July of last year, 2022, which I quite enjoy, although it kind of really reduces the storyline from these comics, like these really long storylines, into just this two and a half hour movie. And some people really enjoyed this, some people really didn't. I think a lot of the buzz that I was hearing at that time was that the hardcore MCU fans and the comic book fans weren't enjoying it as much as general audiences were. Which, okay, I mean, you need general audiences in order for your movie to be a big, huge box office success. Let's look up that one and see. Okay, Thor Ragnarok, Thor: Love and Thunder. See what that one made. That one made 760 million worldwide, so it didn't do as good as Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, where even though Thor is a much more popular character, people just didn't resonate with this one as much. Next we got the I Am Groot, the shorts, which are fun, but you don't need to see them. She-Hulk Attorney at Law came out in August of last year. I had a lot of fun with this one, but I think I'm in the minority because a lot of people didn't like it. Werewolf by Night, October of 2022. This was a special released on Disney Plus. I'm in the minority on that. I didn't really enjoy it, whereas more people did enjoy this. So, each their own, right? It just didn't work for me. Then we got November of last year. We got Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Another solid entry from Marvel. Didn't make as much as the first one because you've lost your main star, you've lost the Black Panther as well, so you got to get a new Black Panther from make one of the other characters Black Panther. I like the introduction of Namor, as they call him, and yeah, solid, but also wasn't a huge box office hit. Then we got the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special that same month. I had a really fun time with that. That was great. I mean, it's James Gunn, and it seems to be that anything James Gunn puts out, he just knows what he's doing. He's like, yep, getting this done, and everything that guy just like craps gold, apparently. Then we got Ant-Man the Wasp: Quantumania. What can I say? This was disappointing. Just didn't get there, didn't work for me. I'm like, why do I care about any of these characters? Where's Michael Pena and David Dastmalchian and their crew? I mean, it really missed those three guys. I'm sorry, I can't remember the third guy's name. I could have really used them. That movie was not the greatest. So that one definitely open to mixed reviews. And then we got Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which I don't have a physical media copy of it, but I have ordered. I just hasn't arrived yet because it just came out. This was a big success. I think it made this. It's still playing actually in the box office, and it's already come out. So I'll look up on the current chart here where it is at this time. So top movies, it's currently in the number 4 spot for top domestic movies this year. And it is currently sitting at 845 million worldwide. It's still playing, so that'll probably still go up. And I really enjoyed this one, and most people did. I think it's got really high scores. I'm going to look it up here on Rotten Tomatoes. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 comes right up. And what do we got for that? It has an 81% certified fresh rating and a 94% audience score. So really high audience score and pretty good for critic rating as well. So definitely the majority of people enjoyed this, and that's why it's doing so well. Because not everyone's like all these MCU movies and their Disney Plus shows that come out. So each time they come out with a bad one, it's the same principle as rising tide raises all ships. When you lower the tide, they all sink as well. So the more they keep coming out with bad superhero content or bad comic book stories, it doesn't necessarily have to be Marvel. It can be Warner Brothers with DC, and it can also be Sony with their Spider-Verse. So when they come out with Morbius and it's not good, then that's going to affect everyone else too, because it's going to bring down everyone. And then recently we just got Secret Invasion, and I don't want to get into a rant about Secret Invasion, but we got videos. We reviewed each episode, and you can see definitely from there, we started out like we're excited, and we're like, hey, wait a minute, this isn't good. And then as we got to the last one, we're just crapping on it. So check out my channel and check those out if you're interested in hearing Christine and I rant about Secret Invasion. This one's not good, and people online are pissed off about this. I see so many comments and so many videos about just people, they're not happy about this. So we've gotten a lot of really divisive stuff lately. And if they keep on this trend of releasing garbage or just mediocre stuff, I mean, was Quantumania garbage? I would say it's very mediocre, and people don't want to see mediocre to crappy movies. It's really hard to do, apparently. I don't know anything about the entertainment industry, but it's really hard to make good movies. And that's what they need to focus on instead of just putting out more and more content. And this all goes back to, hey there, Fluffy Kitty. Come on, Kitty. There you go. Good girl there. As I was saying, all the stuff we're getting out now, this all goes back to when Disney management changed from Bob Iger to Bob Chapek, the two Bobs, and now Bob Iger is back because they fired Chapek because all the stuff he was doing, even earlier I mentioned the fiasco with Scarlett Johansson suing Disney, that was all on him, and all the managers that he put in place. So all the decisions that they made at that time, we're seeing the effects of it now, and whew. So people are just checking out of this. Just like, we get a good DC movie and no one goes to see it because everyone's checked out. So whether it's, a lot of people had fun with The Flash, even though it's kind of unfinished with the visual effects, even though they won't admit it. It was a pretty fun movie. I have a good time with that. And I love seeing Michael Keaton back. But no one goes to see it. So it doesn't make anything. I shouldn't say no one goes to see it. The hardcore fans go to see it. The people who really love the superhero and stuff in the comic book world, they're going to go see it. But general audiences aren't because they don't want to, they've already checked out. I mean, James Gunn's The Suicide Squad from 2021 is amazing, but no one went to go see it in the box office, and that's why you're not going to get any more of those movies, even though they were really good. Hopefully we get another season of Peacemaker. That was a huge success because it was the biggest show in the world at a time when it came out. Let's see what else we got here. So overall, my opinion for the current state of the MCU is they need to, I don't care whether they have to keep pushing things back. Obviously, things are going to get pushed back now with the writers and the actor strikes. But the next one we're supposed to get in movie-wise is the Marvels. They pushed it back to November of this year. If it's not good, I say they just keep pushing it back and make it better. I don't care if they have to do reshoots or, just retool the story, redo the editing. I don't know. I don't want to make it movies, but better to release few products that are really good and then releasing tons of product that are all bad, because if you got bad product, no one's gonna buy it. I mean, if it's in another industry too, if there was a granola bar a while back, I think it was, that they changed their product and they took out the raisins, which is why people were buying it. So they made their product worse, and so people just stopped buying it. And it's the same thing with these movies. If they make their product worse and people aren't interested in it, then it doesn't matter if you have more of it. You're just gonna have more of nothing. Anyway, that's my rant about the current state of MCU. If anyone listened to that one, thank you very much for listening to my ramblings. They're usually Christine's here to discuss it with me. Fluffy Kitty's not that talkative, I guess, today. She's running all over the place right now. And I'm glad she finally lied down here. Anyway, appreciate anyone who watched this and gives us a like. That's always help us out. You can always subscribe for more content.